actually taking into account.
7 to 3:30.
Okay. So it's not like.
And some cases are thrown
sometimes-
out, like it's not like vascular cases, right? We're not doing heart to another vascular case. We're trying to utilize the times that,
Like
you know,
spine to spine,
had the
you know,
numbers a little
general
bit.
with robot to robot.
those type of things.
I'm just curious, because it seems like after hours, different overtime.
So you're done with it. That you're not needed in the morning in your particular room, or if you have, you know, you're in Mortensen's room and he's up and doing an A-lift with Miller, those type of things, you need to check in with the front desk. We'll put you on the turnover crew. You need to make sure that you have a Vocera, right? And when all hands on deck to try to, right, minimize and try to help out to lower our turnover times in that regard. Any other questions about that at all? Okay, and I'm also looking for I still have some rooms where I need a crew chief to take over that room. I still have 5, 6, right, 7 and 8 still available that we need to have somebody take on that responsibility to make sure that that room, it has everything that it needs, is staying as far as the maintenance goes, and just sort of, you know what's happening in that room on a consistent basis to help us out also with our turnover times in that regard, so we're not looking for specific items or things, or have things that need to be fixed. The other thing too is that we talked about just a little bit, and I just want to let you know, right, we're trying to make sure that we communicate a little bit better of what things have already been called in every room to be fixed. Like right now we have a light problem in room 5, we had some phone problems, and when we switch, Jordan's in room 5 today, it gets called in, but then she's not in there tomorrow. It's not been fixed. The nurse that's in there the next day doesn't know that it's already been called in. So there are, right, you can go on the intranet as far as to be able to see what has been called in, but also we'll keep it up at the desk, right, so you know, or you can walk by, you're in this room today, see if there's anything that's, needs to be fixed in that room or is in the maintenance, and then head off to that room. Okay? Any questions about that at all? All right. Thanks.
Okay. So sometimes we have the need for 2 captain's chairs, so I'm just going to review how to make one from scratch. So normal bed without the cassettes. Take the head off the bed, and you're going to flip the pad around, and you're going to take this pad off. So this is located at the back of the hallway by the other captain's chair. This is just some extra parts and pieces. These are the attachments specifically for this. So I'm going to lower the foot of the bed a little bit just for better access. Alright, so the top with the part with the notch is going to go towards the crease here, and you put it on like every other head attachment. And I go about 1.5 inches from this knob right here, and lock it in there with the back knob. Same on the other side. Bring this over. And place it right in the slots here. And sometimes you gotta bend it a little bit. There you go. Thanks. There you go. And so there's these 2 rubber stoppers here. You just want that flat on the actual bed frame. It sits in there. Unlock it down. Then This card has a lot of extras, but I like to use this one. There's kind of older style down there for the headpiece. But this one works a little bit better. Just pull that out, and this knob always goes on the top part. There you go. So it's done. Any questions for me?
Good job,
And there's a picture on this as far as when you're positioning the patient. That can be helpful, especially for anesthesia when you're putting it on. You can take out this foam pad just depending on how long the torso is, but that's kind of how she goes. Cool. All right. Tori's going to talk about the spider.
So, with our new tables that we're going to be getting, the spider actually goes on the back of the captain's chair. Now, there's going to be a bar back here, but when we get those in, we'll go over that. As of right now, I'm going to go over the draping and how to just basically get it set up. So, there's two spiders. There's a spider 1 and a spider 2. Spider 2 hooks up to, the regular spider hooks up to pneumo, to where it has a foot pedal, and you set it to 100, and then it's just basically you step on the foot pedal to release the air in it. This one, the spider 2, is battery operated. You can plug in. There's actually 2 ways to run it. There's a foot control, and there's also a piece of it was attached to the drape when we first got it in, to where it was up by the thumb. The only bad part is every time Dr. Thomas went to move it, he would hit that and it would come detached. So we don't use that anymore. We just use the pneumo. So when we first get it all hooked up, this is not where it's going to be hooked up on the regular captain's chair. Like I said, the new captain's chair is going to have the bracket on the back. So, Chad. Let me use Chad as a demonstration for draping. So everything that we get is a sterile. So we get the sterile shoulder bar. We get the patient up on the bed, which is going to be Chad. That is going to be situated to where Chad is going to be able to utilize it. All right, so Chad's going to be our patient. He's going to be asleep. So in order to get all this stuff, so the RN's going to basically go through, prep the arm and stuff, hold up the arm, we'll put the draping sequence on, and then when we get to the arm part, we're actually going to have a stockinette that we're going to put on. The only reason why we mainly put the stockinette on is because this is metal, and so if we go to cauterize and he has it in there, it'll burn him. So we basically are going to have an impervious stockinette that we open up separately, and then before so this is how it's going to come. You have all these straps, so just undo the straps, pop your bar in here, reach up, there's a little hole, it's kind of tight, and you're going to pop it in. So you always need 2 people here, so you're going to put the stockinette on, then you're going to take a co-band and wrap his hand like this, where it's out, the palm's out. Then using the other person, you have to basically wrap, don't do that yet. You're asleep, you can't do that. So you're gonna be using another person to hold that. And then you're gonna wrap it tight. And then before you put these on, now there's another person holding this so I can let go. You get these two straps. There's two Velcro straps on here that will come off. So the bigger one is actually going to go around his wrist. That's just to hold it in place to make sure it doesn't slip. And then if you look, which I didn't look when I put this on, you just follow the strap around. You go around, and then the second one is back here, and you have to do it somewhat tight, but you also have to be mindful of this little ledge right here, because it's going to be going in here, so you have to don't impede it on any way, or hinge on it. Then you take your last one and just do a security wrap. Any questions so far? This is your sterile drape. Usually you'll have the nurse, we'll bring it up after we get everything situated draping. So if you notice right here, this is all non-sterile. This is going to be a sterile one. So you're going to take the drape, you're going to take this little sticky pad off, you're going to keep it. It's going to make sense later. Then basically you can just slide this all down. No, I'm sorry. So you're going to take this. This is your sterile one. So the nurse is going to help you out here. You can depress that, slide this in, slide up this, and then the nurse is going to take a 1-inch silk tape, wrap it around. The only reason why we do this is because during the case, in the past, this has slipped down, we've pressed this, and this has fallen off. And it's kind of a pain in the butt when you're all draped to have it go back on. So this is all non-sterile. This right here is sterile. So you take your drape, you're going to be super careful. There's a little hole in here, and you're going to basically just take this, get it right over your lock. And then you're going to take your little safety, or your little sticky drape, and just go around this. Don't do the lock. It's just to make sure that your drape doesn't go down below, and then leave a tag on it for at the end. Now this is the hard part is, you might have to sit down. There's two different ways that people do this. Dr. Thomas likes to basically keep the lock in and put it on ahead of time before he drapes, and then other times he will get draped completely and sit there and keep this loose and try and do this. Whichever way you can do it, more power to you, because there isn't an easy way. As soon as you get it in, you're going to lock it into place, and then you're going to Coban the crud out of it. So there's a lock on here. Go with the lock. Does that make sense when I say go with the lock? Because it engages, you turn it clockwise, but if you put your Coban counterclockwise, you might dislodge it, and then you press the button and it'll fall out. So go with that, and then I just incorporate the living daylights out of this because I was involved with a case where this came dislodged, and it's not fun actually. And then I continue to go over the hand because I've been on cases where the hand has actually come loose and it slides through. No matter how tight you have it, then it just becomes a huge issue. And then you're done. And then Dr. Thomas runs the whole thing. Any questions on that? It's not that difficult if you just think about the whole concept. The main concept is get the extremity, or excuse me, get the impervious stockinette on to protect the patient, and then make sure that this is covered as well as possible so that you don't burn the patient, and just maintain sterility. Just maintain sterility right here. This is the part that gets people in trouble the most.
I'd say most of the time people do exactly what you did, is they try to drape this before they put this on, because I do that myself all the time. And you can still do it if you happen to drape this and still put this on there. It's just a little bit more of a pain, but to lock this cam.
Any questions?
So Dr. Thomas,
Dr. Thomas is, but Dr. Hart starts on the 14th, and I know she does total shoulders. And I believe she uses this, but I'm not sure if we can through this Friday, so.
Dr. Williams uses it on his
Oh, yeah.
first ribs.
on his what?
First ribs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And Dr. Cry uses it, and Dr. Please uses it on her. Bobby, you wanna wipe that word out for me?
Funiculectomy.
Funiculectomy.
So Tony, in the past, I've put the spider on this portion of the captain's chair. Is that correct?
Right, so realistically, if we were keeping these beds, this would be down here about 2 inches off the base of it. So about right here. And you actually can have the spider on the bed before the patient even comes in the room, whether it's left or right, done it both ways. Anesthesiologists will tell you you can't, but you actually can. All you have to do is just take this and turn it like that, and then it's fine. I didn't go over that because, again, when we get the bed contract done, both the captain's chairs have the bar in the back, and that's realistically, if you've ever, I don't know who's all watched the Spider 2 video on how to use the Spider 2, super good video. They all attach it to the back of the captain's chair.